with our people, because we talk about the Constitution here and a lot. But the thing is, ask yourself, how many people can read? You know, this UPE here, I have a problem with UPE. It's it is something that we reading is not in our DNA in a way, which is wrong. We should be. My daughters, my daughters, my wife, me, my dad used to read while eating, but he never read to me. My mom was a teacher, never read for me. But uh, my wife will read for the children. And I tell you what, the children now read books like anything. And so I agree with what you're saying. The passion you have been doing in Uganda and the passion is here. And when you talk about it, it makes me even more passionate to keep on going to do what you are doing in America, to talk about it, to talk about the struggle. There's a lady who was trying to tell us that, telling me that you shouldn't demonstrate in this country. And that time I just didn't like her because I said, you just don't understand. Completely, you don't understand. But we're given permission to do, we will do it. So I hope that is okay. But I'm very proud of what you do, Doctor.
Doctors, the next speaker. Otherwise, maybe we shall ask for more time because this looks like
because the co-hosts actually should help take hands. Yes, Comrade Joe, please do come in. How are you? Good to see you. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you, Comrade Dorcas.
Good.
Thank you. Well, I guess. Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
No, it's fine.
Thanks for all that you do.
And thank you too.
Yeah.
Compatriots, I really appreciate the time you give. The commitment, the resilience. I don't take anything for granted. So, and of course, Dorcas, thank you very much for keeping this platform going. Yes, I'll just pick on, I think, one or two things that Comrade Mugeni raised, which I think is very, very important. And it remains pertinent. And I think we're talking about unity, we're talking about patriotism. And I think he's narrating his experience in the US as compared to, we Ugandans. Are we patriotic? I think the answer is yes, we're patriotic. However, I think it gets a bit complicated in the sense in the way we manifest our patriotism, and no one can be blamed for that. And I think here's the reason. We can look at the historical. There are two reasons for this. I think there is the historical trauma and the colonial legacy. The colonialists really fostered division by, through divide and rule. And what they did is they focused on ethnic, they focused on religious, they focused on regional differences, which they used to divide the people so that they would, weaken them and therefore rule them. After independence, we would have expected, and I think there was a good sense of nation building that was happening in the 60s. But I think over time, this was undermined in favor of, consolidating power. We can see this in the under Obote regime. We can see this also under the Idi Amin regime. But I think we've seen more of this under the Museveni regime of the 40 years. For him, consolidating power has been more important than nation building. And I think that is where, that is where people started not, first of all, that is when people started not trusting the state. And I think I want to distinguish between the country and the regime. These are two different things. So we love our country, but we don't love the regime. And I think that is where the problem comes in. And that is why many people are not able to be, they are not patriotic and they cannot exhibit the same level of love that Dr. Mugeni experienced in the US. The issue is we love our country, But you ask yourself, does our country love us back? And I think our country loves us back. But if we're talking about the regime does not love us back. And here's why. If we're looking at the level of authoritarianism that we see around us, the human rights violations, we're seeing abductions, we are seeing tortures, we're seeing rape, we're seeing killings of citizens. So how can citizens love such a regime, ladies and gentlemen? It's just not possible. If we're looking at the youth today, the youth are very disillusioned because this government has not invested in the youth. On the contrary, it has abused the youth. It sends them off to the Middle East into slavery. So how can they love a state? I mean, a regime like this, it becomes very, very impossible. Then we can look at the corruption, because for me, I think patriotism is about inclusive governance, where you feel part of the governance and where you feel and you feel proud of those institutions that we have. Today, we don't even have any institutions to talk about. If we are talking about the army, what is the use of the army? Museveni uses the army to harass, to terrorize, brutalize, and kill the citizens. So we cannot love these institutions. If we're looking at the police, if we're looking at the judiciary, I mean, they're all they victimize the citizens. So we cannot love these institutions. Yet, when we're talking about nation building, when we're talking about symbols of patriotism, for example, the Constitution, we're looking at the flag, we're looking at the emblem, we're looking at even the language. Do we have a national language that combines us, that makes us really feel part of this country? We don't have that. So these symbols of nation building are really not in place. If we have any of these institutions like the army, instead they're used to brutalize the people. Museveni uses them as an instrument to perpetuate power and to hold to power, which just becomes a problem to us, the people. So, and I think finally, let me talk about lack of civic education. Museveni removed civic education. So Ugandans, today they are not taught about the value of national symbols. I mean, the Constitution, the flag, they're not taught. Instead, they are taken to Chankwanze, where they're indoctrinated with, this NRM, the ideology, where they are taught to be stupid. Where they sheepishly just follow Museveni, and they will do whatever it takes to defend, Museveni. And I think for me that is not patriotism. Actually, patriotism cannot be taught; it has to come from you. And I think until we remove this dictatorship, so I think we're not going to experience what Dr. Mugeni is experiencing in the US. But I'm very, very hopeful, and I'm very optimistic that in the new Uganda, I think we're going to do an overhaul, rebuild all these institutions, and I think bring back that. We shall build. We're going to do nation building, and then we shall bring back all those, I think, sentiments that today are missing. Yes, I'll yield the mic in the interest of time. That is what I can say for now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. And one thing that you said so clearly, anything you do comes from the heart, and that is very important. That is very important. And out of the heart comes joy. So thank you for that, and good to hear your voice again, that passion in your heart. Next, Proscovia, like to unmute and Proscovia.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Kato. Thank you, Dorcas. Thank you, everybody. Doctor, the experience everybody is having. Let me start what our sister said. Is it a sister or a gentleman who said that we need to have a common language? The problem of Uganda is not a language.
Yeah.
Because when they are coming to abduct you, what do they speak? When they are coming to abduct you, what do they tell you? And when they tell you, do you understand what they are telling you? The problem of Uganda is us. Our mindset has failed to totally understand that we need to unite as Ugandans first. And there is no common language you are going to accept in Uganda. So you're going to say that we make Luganda, we make Runyankole. No, but that is not the problem. Because when a person is in actually abducting, he speaks the language you do understand. But do you understand the word change? Do you understand the word freedom in your own language? Ugandans, our mindsets are still the problem to us. When you look at, say, they are in Uganda, when they are taking away your land, which word do you understand when someone comes and grabs your land? What comes into your mind? We are still colonized by ourselves. I was not born yet before Uganda got independence. There is no white man who taught me how to speak English. No white man taught me to speak Luganda. Who colonized me? Was it a white man? That is a question to all of us. 2, I'm speaking now to you, a young man and a woman, whom they come to your door, whether at your kiosk, wherever you are at. And the person comes and tells you, Jangu nkuwe sente nkuwe omutwalo tugende oyambale t-shirt. I'm seeing here parents of relatives or sisters are complaining. Abaana baffe si bayaaye. I like the word si bayaaye. But they turned out to be abayaaye when they came to your home. Babakugjeeko ne bakugamba, and you accepted because of $10,000. Because of omutwalo. Now you are complaining, abaana baffe si bayaaye. Remember, you have left the country thinking, abo bayaaye, the word, these are goons. Little did you know that including you are a goon in this guy's eyes. Era bw'aba azze okutwala omwana wa, he looks at that child as a goon. Not necessarily bano bemulaba mbu balika mwokya. No, not necessarily the person now who's listening to me, who sees Uganda as now very okay, looks at me as a goon. If you are a boy, you are in year 16 and above, and you do not know that this country is going to rely on you, 10 years from now, you'll be looking at us, because this is the internet, is going to come back and say, when the time people wanted us to change the country, we thought because I have my kiosk right there, I did not care. They came, nebampa t-shirt, bansiba. Those are the stories you're going to tell your children. But we are telling you, you have the mandate to change this country. You have if the country is in your hands, Baba Sibia, now you are crying. Please don't cry. Let us be Ugandans. Here, when they say you have a child, they're very happy because they know these are the people who are going to sustain the country, not an 80-year-old person, not even the person in their 70s. No, it is you right now they're using to stand in that line. You, they are giving omutwalo gwa shillings n'ogenda n'okuba abantu. It is you. The language is not the problem. It is us who have colonized our minds. Sister Dorcas was talking about guys. Here, these guys are praying, but they cannot sleep in church. The whole day, unless you go to church to eat a meal. How many of us go to church and come out when you have eaten a meal? Apart from a meal of the soul. But you cannot feed the soul when you are hungry, you are yawning. They first ask you, have you eaten? If you have not eaten, then go get something. For us, what do we do? Me, I'm talking to young person because you are listening in on Facebook, you're listening in on TikTok. It is you guys. It is you. bwe baba bakotwala kalangali temuwogana. Now they are giving you guns to come on the streets and they have masqueraded you. You don't understand yourself. And then tomorrow you are arrested, you are crying. Ugandans abavubuka njogera nammwe mwe gwanga liri ku mmwe. Ogenda kuzaala omwana wano enkya akutunuulire. Some of you will even fear to tell them that mukimanyi nakubanga abantu ku street. Where's Sobi? Who can tell us where Sobi is? If you cannot learn from that. Doctor was talking about patriotism. Guys, patriotism, I just looked at it and I'm like, okay, this is it. When you're addressing, you're not addressing Museveni. You're addressing the people who voted you to offer services. These are the languages we are talking about changing. When Comrade, was it Comrade Kato? That someone asked, when Comrade Modi asked, who's worshipping? Learn to address the people who voted you and what you're doing. Do not address Museveni. Patriotism for us, independence of Uganda, we are going to hear the nobody is showing us how we acquired independence. You, a UPDF person, what are you doing on the streets of Kampala? We are not terrorists. The independence we are talking about is not the AK-47 you are bringing on the streets. It is me, the person whom they gave independence. I'm supposed to enjoy it. Go back and defend the borders of Uganda. Not the streets of Uganda. Maybe not your Nabi Jakubanga. It is us, the people of Uganda, who are supposed to speak to these guys. The same akademulekero kutumuliza the constitution to Amateka. What does Amateka say? Like Doctor said, what does Amateka say? Speak to the people who understand the language that even a child of 8 years, 7, 9, 10 can understand it. Speak to the people, do not speak, because when Trump was addressing Anazuku Sawa, where is it? Because of A, B, C, D for the people. Do not parade someone. All the people now, let's go back to independence. How many people they parade during Uganda independence that fought for independence of Uganda? I want someone to come out categorically and tell me, Proscovia, you are lying. When we are addressing during the independence of Uganda, these are the people who fought for independence. How many documentaries do we see? And this is still not a problem to us. If you don't need change, tuyambe genda kwate kubo gende mu nyanja. Tumanye nti gwe for you Uganda, you are very fine. You don't need it. You cannot abduct a person and we are watching. We are watching. Where is the humanity? Before I became a noob, or before I became an ignorant person, I'm a Ugandan first.
Doctors, haven't you given the process so much time?
No, men
No,
have been
it's okay.
submitted.
It's okay. Maybe since you are the only lady, since you are amongst the few ladies, but I was just conscious of Doctor's time and. But Doctors, if you can add us more time, we need more time. This is a very interesting debate. Maybe Proscovia, you can wind up. I'm sure you still had something to say.
Yes. As I wind up, when the lady was addressing the Attorney General, she did not address Mr. Trump. No, she said the Iowans, Americans. The language has to change. This is what Mr. Kato was saying. The language has to change. We need now a country. Let us go back to patriotism. Not Museveni patriotism, not Chagulanyi's patriotism, but Uganda's patriotism. The youths, they are giving you money this time after 5 years. Ogena kubera tata, and you are going to be their most worst, desperate father. You'll feel like, I wish I did not give birth. Thank you so much.
Can I give a feedback, and it will be a question to the next people who are coming in.
Okay,
if you are a Christian, if you have maybe whatever religion you are, because there are excuses that I want us to rub. That I want us to follow. I was baptized, I think, when I was a child. And then they call it christening. I forget the things because I've become very unchristian. I was baptized when I was a child. I was given a name. Mr. Kato, you're laughing. You will correct it since you're a Christian. I was baptized, and then at P7, I think I was confirmed. I'm trying to give you these things so that we know where to start from. Because the patriotism that we are seeing, imagine your child is given a candy and we want to go to the next parade next year. So at P7, I was confirmed. And that's when I became, I think, a complete Christian. That means catch them early. The Constitution we're talking about needs to be taught. And it can't meet, because all of us were baptized either in our languages or whatever, wherever church you went to, at a certain age. Then at P7, I think that's when you're about 12 years and you're being confirmed. You're being something like that. So let's discuss to that, knowing that everything is possible, because I don't want us to put mountains. And I keep challenging my colleagues, Americans. Am I the only one in America? Because it's like, my America, which is Iowa, seems different from the Americas where the other Ugandans are. When we talk about young people, yes, Joe mentions young people. Iowa has 3,000 football stadiums. The American football stadium, there are 3,000, and yet we're 3.1 million people. Iowa has 947 cities. And now when there was fireworks, that's why I'm saying that yesterday you don't need a car lights on, because every city was on fireworks. So it was just daytime in the night. So it's like you see things. So with the 3,000 stadiums, you know that youths are covered. I'm not talking about parks. I even recorded, I'm going to put it, I recorded it, I'm recording even ponds. Every person in America knows either has a fish hook in his house, because there are village ponds that are created by they call it DNR, Department of National Resources. So every village has a fish pond. They plant fish there for you and they tell you to go and fish to reduce the population. I mean, these are things that are doable in Uganda that has a river Nile from wherever to Nimule. We need, and sometimes I'm like, we even have urgency. When shall we do these things? When shall we do these things? For me, ever since I came to America, it is urgency I'm seeing. America can create a dream and can destroy your dream. Because you see mountains. Ugandans, who I say, don't compare. But it's like we need to do the things they have done. 3.1 million people, how do they manage 947 cities? 3.1 million people, how do they manage 3,000 stadiums? And we are 48, maybe 48 million redundant people. Me, I feel fired. But I ask myself, do we have an opportunity? Each of us who has traveled, you should be speaking the language I'm speaking. If I'm lying, these are things I see here and I'm like, but I don't see other Ugandans passionate about America like I am. People will tell you, don't admire America, but this is where I am. I was in Uganda for 51 years. If you ask me to compare Uganda and America, I'll say Uganda is hell. And yet, all possibilities are there. The lakes are there. The matoke is there. The fish is there. What do we lack? Even the brains are there. So the Constitution is taught from childhood, and we can teach. I was baptized as a child, and I lost it when I'm an adult. Thank you. Mayanja Ben.
Sometimes you just have to breathe. Mayanja, could you just speak for about 3 minutes, or I think we need also to keep time, so that I go to the garden, I go and get some food for the children. So Mayanja, please unmute and talk to us.
Yes, good evening,
Good
morning, good afternoon to you all, comrades. Yeah, I'm Anja Ben, the chairman of Kenya chapter. I thank you, all of you, for attending these meetings every Saturday. Thank you, Comrade Docus, for organizing the Zoom meeting every Saturday since 2020 up to now. Thank you for that. And we remind you that the struggle is still going on. So continue doing that. Your country will remember you years to come. I know, comrades, what we are doing, some of us, we cannot understand what we are doing, but I know that one day, one time, Uganda will remember the effort and what we did. So we start, I've been listening to everybody, but I wanted to comment on the submission of Sister Julie Kigonya. Julie, I'm not criticizing you, but I want to remind you that we are preaching the gospel of a protest vote. We are going in a protest vote. We are organizing ourselves for elections 2026. That is the gospel, always our president telling us that we are going back in elections. Yes, we went in elections 2021 and Museveni rigged the election and announced himself as a leader. But all of us, we know that in Uganda, we cannot have a free and fair elections with Museveni. We know that very well. And the world knows. So, but we need to participate in elections. And then after, we claim for the victory because we know we are going to win. There is no way we can start demonstrating, saying, Museveni, you go. The world will ask which reason. The man has stayed in power almost, he's about to end 5 years. So we need to wait the elections, and after elections, we claim for the victory. I'm here in Kenya. I think most of you hear news, you see, you follow what is going on here in Kenya. On Monday, we have a Saba demonstration. The Kenyans are going to demonstrate about the President Ruto actions and the killings which is going on in Kenya. We are going to join them as Kenya chapter. And we are talking to these people. Comrades, I know that some of you, some of us, we are tired. It's like we want to give up, but this is not the time to give up. It's a time to listen to our president, whatever he's saying. You know, this meeting, we have the FDC, we have people who believe in change. But for me, I believe in President Bobi Wine. I'm an NUP supporter, I'm an NUP leader in Kenya. And I encourage you, all of you, to listen to the president, whatever he says. We are going in a protest vote, and we need to organize ourselves. We need to support the people on the ground, the diaspora. We need to organize ourselves. I'm here in Kenya. I'm mobilizing. We started the campaign of village to village to remind Ugandans that we have to liberate our country. We need to wake up.
Yeah.
Last time in 2021, we mobilized Ugandans and we went back and vote for the president. But this time is different. We mobilize people to vote, and after vote, we protest. We demand for our victory. Most of the Gen Z you see here in Kenya, most of them are Ugandans. We have many, many Ugandans here in Kenya, almost 500,000 Ugandans. People ran out of the country to Kenya because of the situation, the environment in Uganda. So,
Imagine, Ben, if you summarize, wind up.
yes, I thank you. I had a lot to say, but what I wanted to say that we need to preach the gospel of the protest vote. We all focus on 2026 elections, and we know the victory belongs to us. I will conclude. Dr. Mugenyi, I know we were from Eastern Uganda, so we need to talk to you. We need to mobilize. You are on the border, Uganda and Kenya, so I want to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Ben, and thank you for what you do. Yes, we keep on mobilizing and say, people, that is our country, and we need to have that passion. And sometimes what I say is, I think now with basically summarizing, and then Dr. James, you can summarize, and we hand over to Dorcas. I don't know whether Dorcas is around at the minute. So,
I am, but I think Sister Mimi, Ellen Prezo, just a minute.
I can't see their hands. I can't see their hands. Mimi dropped out.
Mimi dropped. Sister Mimi, are you speaking? Yes, Desmond, as Mr. Kato, please. Yes.
Yeah, so our country is our country, and we need to have that passion. And being where we are, we are seeing there's so many things that we can learn and take back home. And when we go, it's going to be ruthless. When we need to make sure it becomes the place that people admire and people want to come back and develop that country. And I say this for God in my country. So I hand back to you, Dorcas, and then you can carry on. And then because I'm about to go and get some food for the family. So thank you.
I can come in then. Kato, can you confirm that I can be heard?
Yes.
Yeah, you're loud and clear.
Right. I think everyone who has really came in to give their submission. Dr. Mungadi, I like the passion, I like the energy that you put in. From your submission, Dr. Mungadi, you've made a very good submission, but that submission cannot help the Ugandan where it is at the moment. You've shaded a picture of America, and it's good to learn from those that have gone through a series of metamorphoses to where they are now. I don't want us to look at Uganda how it ought to be, but how it is at the moment. I'll hinge my submission on what Proscovia emphasized. Actually, it's as if Proscovia read my mind. What we have in Uganda, before you think about anything, when you're talking about Uganda, you have to look at Uganda as a state or a country that was captured. You start from there. One, person that submitted talked about protesting about against the Abakama, protesting about anything. Even if you protest against the Abakama and your Abakama is removed, the next person that will take up that position will always play under the tunes of the dictator. So, without going around the circles and commenting on what everyone has submitted, Proscovia emphasized on the mindset. General Museveni and his small group that captured our country, Uganda, are there because we are fed as Ugandans to own up and take responsibility other than in words. When we talk about the protest vote, it means we're protesting against those that captured our country, and we want to get back our country back. The same way the Americans fought in the previous election and lined up to go and vote. They elected Trump, not because most of them wanted a Trump, but they were protesting against how the administration, the Biden administration, was managing their country. They protested and they voted in Trump. Not because they loved him, but because they loved their country. We can talk about patriotism. You can never teach your child to love you. The child will love you based on what you do to them, the love that you show them, being there for them, providing for them. And they see you not as a father, but as a dad, as a mom. So is the country. Ugandans will not love the way we want them to love their country. If they're being abducted, most of them are languishing in abject poverty. So we need to go back to the drawing board. Dr. Mungadi, I want you to continue doing what you've always been doing, speaking to those people in Busia. Recently, there was a gathering by the NRM, and you lost one young person who was hurt in his neck, and he lost his life. We are liberating Uganda. We're not liberating United Kingdom. We're not liberating US. We're not liberating other countries. In anything that we say, it must go back to the country that we want to liberate. So all the ideas that we have, we must put them into primary ideas and secondary ideas. What do we have to start with? You might be having good ideas, but that idea can be a secondary idea after we've liberated ourselves. What must we start with now? We're going into an election. As a Ugandan, within Uganda and outside, what is your role? Go back to your village, speak to those people in the village, and ask them, speak to them in the language that they understand about what you understand about the protest vote. What role must they do? If they have 18.5 million that are registered to vote, why do we have 6 million voting and the rest do not vote?
Yeah.
That's the role that we need to play. Speak to Ugandans, wherever you are, and mobilize them, sensitize them, the importance of their vote. I submit.
Docus, are you gone? Yes, Elam Prezo. I normally like to compare, and it's not wrong to compare, and it's good you have mentioned that definitely we need from the best examples. We might not even talk about Uganda. Let's talk about Kenya. I have followed Kenya. You can ask me anything in Kenya and I'll tell you. The whole of last night, I think I was on their spaces. They're mobilizing for what they call a final push. They call it Sabasaba. Yes, the final push, where they feel they should push out Ruto. Who speaks in Kenya? When you go to a Kenyan space like this one, you will get lawyers. Who speaks in Kenya? The Ugandan Law Society the Kenyan Law Society is taking lead. Who speaks in Kenya? The medics are playing their role. The civil society is playing its role. In Kenya, here in the neighborhood, do we have such brains in Uganda? Apart from us who are speaking, let's even take an example. Let's take about ourselves. This is what I'm asking. We are 120,000 in the US. What are we doing here? Yes, it's mindset. What are we doing in the US if we can't use our majority in the US? Because even the US here, I've seen US people taking T-shirts from this man called Barugahali. I've seen people in the US here taking T-shirts. I'm like, but if you're in the US and they're taking a Ugandan T-shirt, I'm host here, so you're PLU in the US. Are you sure? Are you serious? Did they bring a brain here? Did you come here with a brain? Because the US would transform you like me. I go on the street and it transforms me. So as Ugandans, we have all the ingredients that are necessary to change our country. We need to act. For my, like you have, yes, it's good you have commanded me, go back to Busia and ask the Busia people if they don't feel me. They know me, they hear me. They're proud of what I'm doing. I speak to them, both in Samia and English. When I say fireworks here, I tell them. They tell me here, you can go to jail for 10 years if for fireworks. You can imagine. But where do Americans get this thing? Like we have mentioned, the kids. When you give a child a sweet, you'll say, who is this? And in what occasion was I given a seat? July 4th. Next July 4th, they want to be there. And they start learning. At the same time, the Constitution is being given across. Uganda has everything. We are not primitive. By the way, almost the first country to get civilized in the world. I mean, in Africa, Uganda is amongst. Somebody mentioned where our medicine was. We just need to, I don't know, somebody called it a spirit, it's a spirit. We need to just be ourselves. I didn't go to Chankwanza and I'm speaking this language. I was speaking it in Uganda. So we have everything as Ugandans, let's get together. And for me, maybe if Americans are united by the Constitution, maybe I'm wrong, but it's the Constitution. And I gave you an example that we can learn the Constitution because we were baptized young. Some of us have just become the religion, the legitimized religion. But at least we were started on the right, on the right note as children. This can be done. Doctors, over to you.
Can I come in?
Yes, Mimi.
I'm trying to come in, but I don't know.
Please do.
Yeah.
We can hear you very well.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody who has come in the space today. And, thank you, Comrade Docus, for leading this. Mine is, actually, I want to connect what Dr. Mungadi and Comrade Tina said. I think the problem with that, and I'm going to speak a little bit, I don't know, Docus, I'm going to speak a little bit more than 3 minutes, but there is a disconnect, I would say, with us Ugandans, both on the ground and in the diaspora. I'm not going to say because many times we direct our guns to the ground, but also in the diaspora as well, is that there is a disconnect. People do not connect why we need change in Uganda. That is the problem with Ugandans, us Ugandans. We do not connect. Whether we are in the diaspora, we think that where we are in the diaspora, matter is like butter and whatever, and therefore we don't even think about where we came from. At on the ground, people have lived that life that they can achieve. Even if Dr. Mungadi, you're going to come and talk about the Constitution, you're going to talk about the facts, you're going to show them photos, you're going to show them videos, they do not connect. That is the problem we have. But in Uganda, we cannot connect whatever everybody is saying, that you can live in a country where you're free, where your child can go into a good school. Also, dagala. People do not connect, and they always just think about today's that is all Ugandans think about. That is what we think about. that even in the diaspora, when we ran away from the country where we ran away from, the poverty, the injustices, the insecurity, and we're in these countries where we are free, we are still bound by the system where we came from. And that is the disconnect. And I'll start off with this thing of mine. I came here after I'd finished college. When I came, I'd never heard about, there was a constitution of Uganda, but I'd never, ever heard about constitution of Uganda. Kakati, I want to tell you where the disconnect is. In the time when I was going to school, there was no political science in schools. It had been banned at that time, you know? Kati, when I came here, I heard about the constitution, how the constitution, bichi constitution, bitia. That's when I started thinking. But before I came to this country, I'd never heard of that. I didn't even know that I had to fight for my constitution. Kati muna Uganda, if you're talking oyogera muna Uganda constitution, they will not understand. Never know jogerere, never making a rosy and whatever. They will not understand. What am I trying to say? We have to tailor them where they understand. Ng'omuntu omubwaganda. Omuvillage alina okutegeera nti alina rights nga munansi. And if ffe abategeddeko abafunye that enlightenment, we cannot put down to their level and explain to them nti gwe nga munansi bye bino. Njagala okusinziira on one this last week, mbadde mpuliriza this one musician nga this girl is so talented, she has a voice. Naye towards one of the end, I was like, oh, let me look for her other music. And then I came on one interview she does. Nga akabirira Museveni, tute muzeyi, tute abayimbi, tusobole tuddemu okuyimba, tusobole okufuna kasente. And I'm like, really? Mwabanga in the first place yakusibye. You cannot freely make your income. You cannot really make an income. You have to go to beg him to open for you and give you an opportunity to perform. Choka godukira yasibye. This is the same person you're going back to. So there is a ekyo kikutegeeza era olw'amaze okiwulira ekyo nenta. Nemuta. Much as I'd loved her voice, her talent, her whatever, I wish there was somebody who could promote this person. Not where you get data. But what is that telling you about Ugandans? There is a they cannot relate. People don't relate at all. They cannot relate. They go back to the same people who have killed their kids, who are putting people in prison. Tuyambe. There is a disconnect. People who are abducting you daily, they are the people you're putting on. Nzene t-shirt ukwambale ya yellow. I cannot even dream of it. You know, I cannot. I cannot even dream saying I would rather be in this regime. Because I have a ministerial position. I have a gundi, but what they this money, 10 million. I cannot dream of. Banaga, when we're talking about Uganda, let us try to think of these people. They are not connecting. That's why this struggle has not been easy. Even for people in the diaspora who are just sitting and keeping silent, you know, there is a disconnect where we cannot relate. Abantu, people who were during the 80s when these people went in the bush, abantu bano bagenda tebalina mmere. They did not have anything. They were young people who went in those bushes to fight. Nga tebalina medicine, no comfort, but we have the comfort. And we cannot even still connect and say, give time, give our knowledge so that people can relate. So we have to get to that level where we make sure that people connect. Because if you're still thinking that it's about you getting money sente zino okubanga munanga nti nayo because we are doing the same exact things we are doing. If you're bribing somebody to get you to get you a ticket, to get you into a position, you know, you're doing the same exact things. We are saying we want change. So we have to get to start connecting to Chawa, even the mention of the name Museveni. Yeah? If we cannot get to that level, that even Otoja Kusula na Anjara, you cannot even sleep. Mr. Mungadi is on those gundi from 1 a.m. to what? But if we are still sleeping until the morning in the diaspora, then tetuna kwagala change. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. Guys, we need to close. I just wanted to speak on the social media campaigns. I know, anyway, Comrade Joe, you're doing a lot of that. I think that's the only way we can really, plus, of course, the civic education that we are doing. Otherwise, but now Uganda, I feel the sleep is just so heavy on your eyes. Yes, guys, we are closing. I will not hold another extra hour because when we start the Zoom, you guys don't come in. So then I'm not forced, but then we have to delay the Zoom another 41 hour.
Kale, byebyo embeera bwetyo bweri gumna Uganda kimanye nti ebikobero bya General Museveni byakola buli olukedde bisaana mu check eyo yentya nga tumujja mbuyinza tumujja mu ntebe nga tutekamu omukulembeze oyo atagenda kukola bikolobero, omukulembeze atagenda kututta, atagenda kutulugunya, atagenda kubba, mutuna atenda agenda okuwa ekitiibwa ensimbi y'omusolo ekola ebyo byerina okukola. Oyo alina ebikolobero bingi byakoze avunaaniwe. Icc emukwateko atwalibwe mu mbuga z'amateeka aweebwe ekibonerezo ayirire byonna ebikolobero byazaakola ku bannayuganda. Wano Icc yokka yekisobola naye nga kiyinza obutakola lwaliro kiyinza obutakola mangu nnyo wabula okukola amangu